Oh, kitty. Come here. You were doing so good. You were doing so good. I was gonna go back to bed. Good morning. Oh, I'm blown the heck out. I promise I'm not a ghost. I can fix this. Hang on. How you guys doing? Alright, let's resize the window. Oh, I scared my cat away. She was just trying to clean herself. And, I've gone and frightened her. Not really. It takes a lot to frighten that cat. Man, I think... Actually, maybe I can try this. Let's turn that down. Whatever. Good morning. How you guys doing? Welcome to Tuesday morning Mount Run live stream. That's what we're doing today. I'm gonna start right away on the first one so that we can get the cooldown rolling just in case we run back around in an hour and it's like, you can't run any more dungeons. I'm not happy with my coloring here. I was fine. It was fine in, like I checked everything this morning. I was actually ready. I checked everything. But then I put on red lipstick and I think I've upset it. Sometimes you just, I mean, I know it's like an obnoxiously loud color, but I didn't think that my camera would be judging me. How you guys doing? Let me see. My chat was frozen. There it is. Sucks I missed the live video. I'll be at work. I wish you the best of days at work. Love you, Hazel. Good morning, Stephanie. She's been turned into a cat. I need your stream after a long weekend of dealing with Blizzard RNG. So speaking of Blizzard RNG, I figured this morning, after this first Mount Run, because I went ahead and these glasses aren't clean. We're going. I went ahead and got this character all the way out to the raid before the stream even started, so that's something. But after I cleared on this character, I figure we can stop by. Stop by the cache. The same thing that we did last week and the week before that. To open the cache, because I hope that it's better. You know, last week we got a Ruffled Poet's Blouse, which is almost the worst piece of Azurite gear I could possibly get, so I sharded it. And the week before that I got a Ruffled Poet's Blouse, which is the exact same thing. So I'm really hoping that this week is not another Ruffled Poet's Blouse. Marcus, welcome to the Scroll Squad. Thank you very much for becoming a member. I appreciate the support, and I hope you enjoy the stream and your emotes and your badge and your that's it. Your wallpaper, you know, the first, no, I guess the second. The October wallpaper went out yesterday, so if anybody wants, if members want their phone to match my phone, I was going to show you my phone. I use the wallpapers because, like, I don't have anything better to put on my phone. So, if you guys want to match, then you can use my amateur drawing of a bumblebee. Polymorphed Hazel, first time tuning in for one of these, good luck. Thank you. So, we're on attempt number... This is going to be attempt number 96. We've tried it 95 times. We're about to try it for the 96th time and see what we do. But my cache, so I was going to talk about my cache. I think it should be okay this week. Why am I saying that? I know it's going to be... The item level at least should be okay. Because I did a decent dungeon. And I can't take full credit for it. Because my friend who has friends that are much more geared than I am was like, hey, I got this 10 key. You want to come? And I'm like, are you sure? You sure you know what you're getting yourself into? But it actually went astonishingly well. I did die very embarrassingly on the last boss. It was a Toldagor 10. But I did not butt pull any trash. I kept up in damage. I felt like my AoE burst was instrumental on getting the first boss down. And I actually, you know, we finished it in a reasonable amount of time. We didn't finish it in the timer, but that's okay. Alakir, are you okay? Thank you. There we go. Good stuff. Good morning. Lips are great. Red lips are never obnoxious. I like to think so. I'm falling through the floor. I guess not the floor. I'm falling through the sky, but it's just not supposed to happen right there. Oh, I'm still falling. What on earth is happening? Oh, I was upside down. That confused me. I thought I was falling into the sky. It's too early for this. I would say I require more tea, but I've actually had a full cup of my tea already. I've got the remainder of the pod in my cup, which is not quite a full cup. Okay, so attempt number 96. Drum roll, please. I don't know who I'm asking to do that. That's okay. Drum rolls are loud. And... Well, we got a pet. I have a bunch of those. Am I still selling? Yeah, no, I have a bunch of those in my bag. In my bank. I don't know why Trade Skill Master's not showing them in my bank on my bank haul, but I'm pretty sure I have like 3 or 4 of those in my bank. Because I'm trying a new thing this time. Last time, I we were running repeatedly Ice Crown Citadel and the Lich King, so I ended up with a whole bunch of Forgotten Souls. And what I did was I just chucked them all in the auction house the second I got them to get rid of them. And kind of ruined the price of them. You know, they used to sell for like 2,000 or 3,000 gold each at least. And this is like, you know, small. These are such small beans that nobody cares. Somebody might care, but generally speaking, it's not changing anybody's life. But I take the price down to like 150 gold, 100 gold, 89 gold. So this time, I'm trying to get at least a little more value out of them, because obviously once we get the mount, I won't be farming it anymore, and then I will, you know, I will stop having such an overwhelming supply of them. So I am sticking them all in my bank and selling them one at a time for market price, and I'd say that's going better. It's just very slow. So if we could all cross our toes or fingers or drumsticks, if you're just tuning in from drum practice, I don't know. That would be really cool. I'm gonna watch while working out. Is that a thing? I'm not a treadmill person. Oh! Increases stealth detection, excuse me. Alright, so the bad news is that I already had a 370 with perfect atomization in that slot. The good news is I got 380 with a socket, and they do have high stat crit, and crit is pretty good for me. Mastery is not haste, but it's not nothing, and the socket means I can stick some haste in it, so I can actually wear those. I appreciate that I can actually wear them, so good Tuesday already. I'll put those on. I'm gonna forget to socket them, but that's okay. And we can move on to character number 2, and I will try and catch up a little bit on chat. Are you going to get Ball? I hope so. I don't know when. I've been kind of toying with the idea of doing a guide for it, but it's so late. I'm at this point in my life where all of my videos are coming out. Like, I did the 120 guide yesterday, the fresh 120 guide, and I'm putting it out and I'm just like, there's like 2 people left that still need this. I don't want to say I need to give up on certain projects, but I find myself spending a lot of time working on things that are already so overdue that they're not as valuable anymore, and in doing so, I get overdue on things that could be more relevant, like 8.1 content that I haven't done any of. So I need to consider where I'm going to put my time, but maybe I'll just keep doing the same thing. Okay. Listening to you at work makes the day go by faster. Oh yeah, so the thing I was going to say about exercising was I'm more of an outside person. You know, upside there's trees out there, downside there's people out there, but occasionally you see cute animals. And I'm more of an outside person, so I haven't worked out indoors in a long time. I used to, like, as a kid, our family had a treadmill, and then once I was a teenager, I had, like, a very short stint of being like, I'm going to run because I can on this treadmill. And it was fine, but it was really boring. But I feel like if you had the right content, like if you had, like, a good Netflix show or a live stream or, I don't know, something, a good YouTube series, then it would be, like, that would help you keep your, like, not get bored, because I feel like that's the big problem with, like, treadmill running or being on an elliptical or whatever, is that it's kind of boring. And when you're outside, you've got all of these things to look at, and you're monitoring hazards, and you're trying not to trip on anything, at least I am. And I feel like, I was just curious if anybody watches live streams from the gym. Is that obnoxious? I mean, I guess if you have headphones and it's, like, on your phone, it's not obnoxious as long as you're actually exercising. I don't know. I have not been to a gym as an adult once in my life, so I don't know what the etiquette is. Finally able to make a mount run after a week. Hi, Hazel. Hi, Jill. How you doing? With as much time as you spend inside, we aren't surprised with what you are. I go outside. You're right. But I will have you know. I go outside every day. A few times a day. But I wear lots of sunscreen. I actively attempt to stay as safe from the sun as humanly possible because it's a good idea. It's something that will, I'm hoping, pay off for me later. But yeah, I put sunscreen on my face whenever I go outside. I got both Ashes of Valar and Invincible while watching your stream. I think you bring good luck. I hope so. Why don't you stream on Twitch? I like it here better for a couple of reasons. The big ones are the bit rate that they allow me to stream at on YouTube. It means that I can have a 1080p 60 FPS stream. I don't know exactly how good it looks. Like, when I watch the VoDs, I'm a little bit disappointed, but some of that may be, like, the VoD compression. But it's better than what I would be able to do on Twitch. And then I like being able to have the VoDs hosted directly on YouTube with live chat replay without me having to do anything special. A fairly large percentage of people that watch the streams actually watch them after the fact, which I totally get. Not everybody has time to fit a live thing into their schedule. And I really appreciate people that make the time to watch it later, you know, while they're playing WoW or doing dishes or like whatever. So having that done through the YouTube video player, like the Twitch video player is something I'm not satisfied with, and you can get Twitch VoDs on YouTube, but you lose the chat replay, and with a stream that's as heavy on chat interaction as this is, because without you guys I have no content, it's it makes more sense for me to do it here, especially because I'm a quote-unquote YouTuber. Like my work is, like, most of my time is spent making WoW videos on YouTube, so it makes more sense. Like, people that watch my videos have an easier time finding the stream. Whereas on Twitch, I would probably get a wider audience of people that just watch streams in general. But I like it here. It makes sense. Where am I going? What am I doing? I didn't get it for on attempt number 97. We are getting close to attempt number 100, and I feel like at least one of these mount runs we got lucky on, like, the quote-unquote, you know, predicted one. Not as predicted, it's just the drop chance. Kitty was playing with the white balance, not gonna cover for her. Alright, I'm behind. Mount drop incoming. Maybe today. Definitely not that time. How's the runs today? Doing alright so far. We're 2 in. I'm gonna try and motor through them a little bit. I would like to try and get more than just one video out this week. I've been on a bad streak. I'm not happy with it. I would like to make some more videos. Specifically, I want to get through the TSM guides. So, I want to get some time on that today. Golden Nut. Oh, you were the first, I think, or at least that's the first one I've seen. The Golden Nut is the 1-year member upgrade. Man, I've been streaming with, I didn't think it had been a year yet with that. Oh, I need to repost my Iron Grip specimen handlers here. I've been working on the gold thing. I feel like I need to extra work on how much gold I'm making when I'm making the TSM guides, just so that as I put each one out, like the number of gold that you can't see because it's behind the fish cam that I haven't explained yet, is higher every time I do a video. That's fine. So I've been trying weird things. Not all of it's been paying off, but I try. So we're hearthing to the hostel. I will explain the fish cam, but I'm gonna try and chat a little bit more first. Good morning. I love your videos. Thank you. Only just hit 120, so I found it useful. I did pin a comment with a couple of corrections that people pointed out to me in the comments. I was so frustrated that I got some things wrong. It happens. There's always a lot of details when you do a WoW video, and sometimes you miss things. That happens. But I was so frustrated because I spent so long on that one. But the thing that I said the biggest error, the one that actually matters, is account-wide. I thought that World Quest Unlock was account-wide. I'd heard people talking about it. My husband had leveled a new alt and he hadn't done the footholds, and he did have World Quest, but some other people say they had to get the footholds. And then some people say they got their World Quest without friendly rep, and some people said they needed friendly rep. So I'm getting a lot of conflicting info on whether or not World Quest Unlock is account-wide. I think my current stance on it is that it's probably not, but the requirements are so low. You just need the three footholds on the opposite faction continent and friendly rep with your 3 leveling zone reps that you can probably kind of get it done anyways. I'm a little bit misty on that, but I will say that the thing I said about it being definitely account-wide doesn't seem to be true based on the accounts that I've been getting. So, word of caution on that one. 1 minute. We're running attempt number 98. Outside is overrated. I have my gym membership as a way to have cable. Oh, that's clever. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like, it depends on what you're watching at cable, too. Wouldn't it be funny if like, the only way you could watch something that's, like, super intense and, like, highly anticipated, like Game of Thrones, is to just, like, go to the gym and you're just, like, lifting weights while you're watching it? That'd be kind of cool. Ariel, welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Thank you very much for becoming a member. I appreciate the support. Oh, I need to make sure I'm firing instant cast, otherwise I'm gonna be here for a while. I hope you enjoy your emotes and your icon, and your bee wallpaper if you want one. I'm gonna be the saddest little, like, lemonade stand person trying to promote it. Like, it's not a big deal. You guys don't. It's just an extra. The add-on tracking the runs is rarity. Feels so nice to watch you live again. I haven't been able to because I've been swallowed up with uni work. It's gonna pay off though. I believe, Chloe. I believe. How do you have 900k not spending on WoW tokens? You're just grinding? Different things. So I definitely haven't bought any WoW tokens. I haven't bought any with money, and I haven't bought any with gold in like a while, like a long time. So that's not a factor. But what I do is combinations. So some things I just grind. I do like to farm herbs and sell those, and then whenever I like have a green piece of gear drop or like a blue or an epic that I don't need, I've been disenchanting it and just selling the materials, because actual crafted enchants aren't selling that competitively right now for me on my server, but the mats are. So I've just been selling enchanting mats, and that helps. That's a good source of steady income. And then I take that and I invest in BFA, I keep saying Legion, BFA BOE epics, like the raid BOE epics that are being posted at what I feel is below their going rate, and then flipping them for what I feel I can get for them. And most of the time that's pretty good. Sometimes it's very good, and sometimes I've made mistakes and I lose gold on that. It's just kind of like investing. It's like a very, it's, you know, it's WoW gambling basically, but if you're smart, you can do well with it. I would say I'm a 6 out of 10 smart. So I've made some good flips. Nothing insane, but I've made some good flips, and that makes you probably a couple 100K worth of that value is from flips. And then smaller time flips. I've just been flipping mats lately, just because they have such a high sale rate that it's really easy to get rid of them. So I have a shopping scan I run, and I'm gonna I'll go into more detail about how to set all these things up when I do the next 2 TSM guides. But I have a shopping scan I run that basically finds for me BFA mats that are like too cheap, and then I reset the market. So I buy out all of the cheap ones up to a price that I feel I can get for them, and then I post all of the stuff that I bought for that new price, and that hasn't failed me yet. It's not a lot. Like, sometimes I'll be making like 3 gold per piece of ore that I reset, and that's disappointing. But then you buy like 1,000 of them, and then you made 3,000 gold, and then you're like, well, it's still 3K. If I found 1 anchor weed, I probably would have been even with this, but you know, a profit is a profit, and as long as I'm making something, I'm having fun, and that's the important thing. Thanks for the update in World Quest, good to know. Yeah, World Quests. Yeah, so my recommendation basically is just, as you're leveling alts, do your best to get some rep with the zones. I don't know if you'll need it, but you might. I wish I had a more definitive answer for you. Like my husband and I were up pretty late last night. I was trying to, like, I finished the Patreon art mail out thing, and then I was looking through the comments of this video trying to figure out what exactly the answer was, because apparently I knew that people were having different experiences with that. And I was trying to figure out exactly what is and is not account-wide about the World Quest unlock, because there's definitely people and like accounts I've watched. Like, we found a streamer that had leveled a character exclusively through Island Expedition, so he wouldn't have any rep. And on that character, on his stream, you can see him ding 120 and then turn in the quest and then and get World Quest going. He did do the footholds, but he didn't, as far as I know, do reps because he just leveled with Island Expeditions. I don't know. I don't have a good answer. I wish I did. Okay. I'll have a better answer, actually, when I finish leveling my druid, because I've been leveling her largely with herbalism, and I'll tell you where. It's kind of fun. I've been leveling her largely with herbalism, so she's only done like 1 zone, 1 1/3 zone, so she's not going to have the friendly rep that she needs. So if I get to 120 on her, and she's like 118, so another level and a half. If I get to 120 on her, and do not get World Quest unlocked, then I'll know what that is. And if I do get World Quest unlocked, I have done the foothold, so that I feel like is probably a requirement, because otherwise how are you even supposed to get there in the first place? Yeah. I run while watching The Walking Dead. That's a good one. I mean, you know, it's high intensity and highly anticipated and whatnot, but like zombies specifically, I feel like is a good thing to watch to get your brain into a running mood. Lucky day off, Hazel streaming, gonna be a great morning. I am running the Throne of the Four Winds for Mount Runs. There is a chance for it to drop the Drake of the South Wind. Got my 100K shirt. Nice. I hope that you like it as much as I like mine. Hazel, I got the Nazjatar, Blood Serpent, and Hordon in one day. You gotta share some of that luck. I have a question. Have you ever thought about streaming your raids? I'd love to see your progression. I used to stream my raids, and it was a while ago. Like, I don't blame anybody for not remembering, because this was years ago. Was it years ago? I like to say years, and sometimes I look at the calendar and I'm like, well, that wasn't actually years ago. It just feels really long ago. But it was back. The last raid that I streamed, I believe, was Blackrock Foundry. I think I stopped streaming before Hellfire Citadel. So it was Warlords. It was it was at least a year ago. More than, I have no idea. Time doesn't mean anything to me anymore. But Blackrock Foundry was the last raid that I streamed. I used to stream them on Twitch, and I stopped doing it because I am such a terrible multitasker that when my attention is split between raiding and streaming, I don't do either of them very well. I was distracted in raids, so my damage was lower. I was causing more problems with mechanics. I wasn't really communicating with my raid team on Vent. And I wasn't really, like, I didn't feel like I was really raiding because I was focusing my energy, or I was splitting my energy with the stream, and then the stream wasn't very good either because I would be ignoring chat for huge chunks of time to try and focus on raiding, so I just ended up not doing either one of them very well, and decided to stop streaming. Also, there were some issues with, not necessarily issues, but it's because, like, I guess I could find a way to stream it. I don't know what's going on here. I could find a way to stream it without including voice chat, but my raid is kind of a place for me and my guild to just kind of raid, and a lot of them don't want to be broadcast online, especially, like, back then it was for, like, 10 people, so that wasn't really a huge deal, but it's a little bit bigger now, and I can understand people not being comfortable with their raid night, you know, their chill time being broadcast online for strangers, so I don't think I'm going to go back to streaming raid anymore. If I ever figure out how to literally invent time, then I would love to have a raiding alt that I have a viewer raid group, or at least do raid pugs and stream those, but I don't see a world anytime soon where that's happening because my time management's not there. Okay, had to unlock on all my accounts, not account-wide so far. Account-wide for me. There's something going on there. There has to be, right? I don't know how it can be both things, and it's not like I think anybody is, I think everybody is telling the truth. I just don't know what, I think there's some rules that are functioning oddly. I've also heard that, I heard somebody say that, they unlocked World Quests on Alliance, and then their Horde alt had them. I don't know. Good morning, Hazel. How goes the run of the 4 wins? Doing all right so far. We're off to a fast start. We are like 3 or 4 runs in. This is the 4th run, and we are only 20 minutes into the stream. It might be a short stream, but if it can be an exciting and fruitful. Fruitful? It's only fruitful if the mount drops, I suppose. I am once again quite behind. The loot add-on that I'm using. Loot add-on. Loot add-on. Do I have an add-on for loot? What do you mean? That's a lot of battles. I got my Drake of the Southwind the other day. It was only on my 10th attempt too, so I'm sending you my luck. Thanks, guy. I would like to have the mount drop, but I'm not in super huge of a rush because after this I only have one more thing to farm that I know I can comfortably farm before I'm gonna have to go around the long way before I need to have more characters leveled, because I am feeling like the next one after this is actually a dungeon farm. So after we get this mount, the next thing we're gonna do on Mount Run Tuesdays is going to be Zul'Gurub, specifically the Raptor farm. I already have the Panther, but the Raptor farm. After that, I don't know. And that means probably mop stuff. The only raid mount, as far as I know, and I could be wrong, but I think that the only raid mount that is Kata and earlier that I don't have, aside from this one, is Mimiron's head. And I don't have any desire to really try and get a Mimiron's head. I don't especially want Mimiron's head. I don't want anything to do with the Ulduar farm. It looks like something where you have to do quite a bit of the content, and I'm not about that life. So it means moving on to mop stuff, and I don't know. I'd have to try. But my impression is that at level 110, as most of my alts are, I'm going to have a hard time easily soloing mop content. I don't know how the scaling worked out, but based on the amount of doing that is happening here in Kata content, I'm assuming it's going to be just like a little bit over their heads, so I would like to have more of them leveled. And that means, I mean, it'll be easier to level them theoretically in 8.1 after they add incursions. So I don't know if I'm just waiting for that or if I just need to keep moving on them, but I need more of them leveled. Stream music only, so no voice. Vent, what are you, a caveman? It's not my fault. We use Discord now, but we did use Vent right up through the end of Legion. So no, but I always thought it was really funny when people gave me a hard time about my guild using Vent, like, what? It's not my fault. I didn't make us use Vent. Although we do actually all call Discord Vent still. Like, if we were referring to a conversation we had in Discord, we always say somebody said something in Vent, because we used Vent for years and years. Longer than most people. Love the Throne of the Four Winds music. The whole Kata soundtrack I thought was very, very, I mean, all of their soundtracks are good. Like, name me a bad soundtrack from WoW. It's hard. Like, there's things that you don't personally prefer, but I've never really heard music that I was like, ew, no. I don't want it to make it stop. That's not happened to me with WoW. But the cat and the mop, I think, really stick in my memory. World boss from last week is up on subserver still. Gives loot. Bizarre. Hazel, I really like your videos. Greetings from Germany. Good morning. I guess it would be good afternoon, I would suppose. Terrified to heal in high-level dungeons, so I'm just avoiding them. I mean, if you want to do them, you gotta start somewhere. Every time that you do it is a little bit less scary. Think of it as like gaining experience in scariness. That's how I view doing things that I'm deeply uncomfortable with. Is even if the worst case scenario happens, like even if you go in that dungeon, not saying this is gonna happen. I might be making this worse, but even if you go in the dungeon and you pull all the trash and you get everybody killed and then they call you very mean names and then they kick you. Even if all of those things happen, you know, you're still okay. Your character's not been deleted. You still have your actual life. You're still a valuable and lovely person. And you have the capacity to try again and try again. So even if the worst thing happens, you still gained the experience of having done it, and it's going to be less scary the next time that you do it. So, and the worst thing's probably not going to happen. And the same thing, like, it's just, like, don't even worry about the outcome. Just focus on doing it. Assuming that you want to get into healing higher level dungeons, but just focus on doing it and have the experience of having done it be your goal at first. That's something that I like to try to apply to a lot of, places in my life, is focusing less on the outcome that you can't control. Because you can't control everything about a pug. You could just get into a group with somebody just mean, and there's nothing you can do about that. Focus less on what you can't control, and focus on putting in what they call the lead measures. The things that will make the good things happen later. Like, my goal in a day won't necessarily be to get X amount of subs or X amount of views, but my goal in a day is to put in X amount of time on a video. Because I can't make people subscribe to a video, but I can make myself sit down and work on it for a certain amount of time. Can you sing Botan Hana for us? I have no idea what that is, and you guys are going to have a hard time if you ever want to make me sing. It's very bad. I used the lockout video to do Old War on 6 alts. It was pretty easy. Does that still work? I thought well, it would be harder now because, of the group finder changes. You would have to, like, you can still do it, but you would need to log back over to accept your invite and then log back over again. I got Mim's head fairly quickly. I don't remember thinking it was too long to farm. It's just one of those RNG farms. I'm pretty sure it's a 1 in 100 chance like most of these. So you could get lucky and get it in 5 runs. You could take you 300, and it's just really down to the RNG lords. The lockout for Oldir to get Mim's head is easier than ICC lockout. You port right outside the Yogg Saron room. Oh, you guys are talking me into it. That's the thing that I was mostly afraid of. Like, I don't hate Mim's head. I just don't have any sentimental attachment to it. I didn't raid Old War. I don't really, like, Titan stuff is fine, but it's not my favorite WoW aesthetic. So I don't really care. But if it's easy, you know, I didn't, like, I don't really care about this trick. But it's easy, so I'm doing it. Maybe, we'll see. Maybe I'll try it one week. Like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Most guilds in my server still use Vent. My guild still wants to use TeamSpeak. Oh, man. I actually had Hazel TeamSpeak. It's long abandoned, but I had one. And I remember having to apply for it and, like, put my channel stats in it and, like, write a letter about why I deserved a TeamSpeak, because it was, like, an initiative to give free ones to streamers or something. And I feel bad for that, because we did not end up using that much. Got a 360 cape. It's awesome. Start healing normals. How many 120s do you think it would take to successfully kill Mythical Dan for the guaranteed infernal mount drop? Did they not change that to not be guaranteed? Because that's weird. That's something they typically do, is after the expansion is no longer current, they take guaranteed mount drops and they drop them to typically 1%. It wouldn't surprise me to hear that they forgot to do that with Gul'dan, but that would be quite curious. Your Void Elf transmog is pretty. I want it. It is a mixture of the Void Elf heritage armor, and then there's like a kilt that I really like with it, and I think there's a shirt underneath it too. People listen to music in WoW. The only worthwhile game music was on the Commodore 64. I like to listen to WoW music when I'm going to also listen to WoW ambience. Like, I specifically really like the birds and the river sounds and whatnot. it kind of feels like I'm going for a hike, except that I don't have to be outside. And I find that the music complements that. So I listen to game music on stream because I like to have something that's not just my voice. Usually I mess up and I make it way too quiet, which is better than too loud. So you can't hear it, but I do have it on stream. And then sometimes if I'm just farming herbs and I'm just trying to zone out specifically within WoW, then I will listen to game music then as well. But you're missing out if you haven't tried it since the Commodore 64, because BFA music specifically is very good. I feel terrible when I get kicked. It's just painful. It does hurt. It does suck. And it can definitely make you question things about your gameplay. And sometimes there is something that you can look at and improve on, and sometimes it's not your fault. And it's hard. Like, I'm not going to try and sit here and tell you that it doesn't suck to get kicked or criticized. I was very guilty of that in back when I used to do Arena, was people would give me criticism, and it was absolutely valid criticism. These were mistakes that I was absolutely making. But because I was trying so hard, and I was aware of the mistakes, it's just, you know, I had bad muscle memory, I had bad habits, I didn't have the experience, I had bad awareness. I wasn't playing as well as I wanted to, but I knew what... Sorry, my headphones spooked me. Sometimes they talk to me. Like, about their Bluetooth connectivity, not about other stuff. But yeah, I was like, I wasn't playing as well as I wanted to, and I knew what playing well would look like. So I knew the mistakes I was making. It's just not, like, with things like that, it's not as easy as knowing what to do better. You have to actually get better. It's not as straightforward as that. So I would get this criticism, and I would know it was perfectly valid. And often it was delivered in a way that was constructive and helpful. And it still just, like, crushed me. Like because, especially when you're invested in something, and you're trying your hardest, it sucks to try as hard as you can at something and have somebody tell you it's not good enough. It's part of life, but it sucks. Something that I read once, or I heard once, I don't remember where I heard this. It's probably been said more than once, that helped me, was somebody telling me that if you're feeling very stressed or very anxious about something, or you feel very hurt about something, like all of those intense negative feelings, you wouldn't be having them if you didn't care. They're a sign that this is something that's important to you. And feeling like that means that you care. It's a good sign. If you didn't feel that way, then you wouldn't be inspired to try harder or try again or do better. And then you wouldn't get better. Everybody, or maybe not everybody, but most people that get really great in any field have those feelings because they care. That's what I think. How many mounts do you have? I have some. 395 in the total count. It's definitely under 300 when you're looking at the count that counts towards the achievement, though. We still have the same TeamSpeak from 2005. I made us a Discord, but everyone still goes to TeamSpeak. I really like Discord, but I am kind of waiting for it to go under. Not like I'm not waiting for it. Like I don't want it to go under. I think it's a great service. But a lot of web services have taken this route of like, well, we're going to build up our user base. We're going to get this big, crazy user base. We're going to invest heavily to get this big, crazy user base. And we'll figure out how to monetize it later. And Discord must be very expensive to run. There's a lot of server space involved there. It's not a cheap thing to do. And while they have monetization in place, you know, you've got Discord Nitro and whatever, I'm not convinced that they have a sustainable business model without being acquired by somebody who has a vested interest in keeping them going. I think that the best case scenario is either they figure out the monetization and like maybe enough people do buy Nitro and they're profitable and that's great and I just don't know. That's entirely possible. But I think it's more likely that eventually, the best case scenario would be eventually they get bought out by a company, like a big company, you know, like Amazon or Apple or Microsoft or whatever, and that doesn't mess with it too much to try and keep the functionality. And maybe that company will run it at a loss, but if they run it and they have those users, then that's something. And then the worst case scenario is that they go, we don't have any money anymore, and then they just shut down. But I hope not. I'm pessimistic about that. Does EverQuest still exist? I think so. I don't know. I'm not involved in that community, but I feel like it does. Or maybe I'm thinking of RuneScape. I don't know. How are you? I'm good, Larry. How are you? I'm such a people pleaser. When pugs are mean to me, it breaks my small heart. I relate to that. It kind of wears off a little bit. The first time it's going to really hurt, and the second time it's going to really hurt, and the third time it's going to kind of hurt. And eventually, you know that air that a lot of healers have, that they're just like not smug, but they're a little cynical. You know how a lot of raid healers and like those really good healers that you get for your mythic dungeon groups, they just kind of have this air of like, I know what I'm doing, so if you die, it's your fault, and they just don't care. I think that is specifically a product of healing in WoW over enough time. It eventually wears down your emotional response to it, because it's like your body can't continue creating that response over and over and over and over and over and over again to the same stimulus once it realizes that it's not the end of the world. It takes time, but you can sort of desensitize yourself to that. And I think that the healer attitude, which I love, the healer attitude is a product of having dealt with enough people that eventually just kind of rolls right off you. I like to think that. I should clarify as a disclaimer that all of the things that I talk about in the stream are just things that I think. And I'm not qualified I'm not like certified in anything. So don't take me too seriously. As a healer, I panic more, but I love it too much to quit. I fall asleep to the Daughter of the Sea and Telltale ambiance almost every night. Why must all pet battle trainers use critters? I love elementals. The BFA music seems a bit too epic. Gets old quite quick. That was how I felt about the cattle loading screen song. It was a great piece, but it wasn't quite ambient enough for it. But I find the BFA music backgrounds for me pretty well, especially the Dressbar stuff. So, no good on attempt number 101. My UI is very sad. I think I need to update TSM or disable it. There's an update out for it. Your great background sound. Raids are easier than groups. There are other healers supporting with you. Yeah, and it almost works out that raids are almost more boring than groups. For that reason, I've kind of found it. Hang on, I want to hearth so I can get them in rested. I'm sure they have full rested already, but I'm doing time walking runs as a healer, and I can't help but laugh at those who died in mechanics and current cata dungeons. If it's free, but it costs them money, then you are the product. That is true, and I think that is the direction that it would go if it was acquired by Microsoft or Google or Amazon, is that they would run it, and maybe they run it at a loss, but they would be harvesting data from it. If you want a service that's not going to harvest your data, you're going to need to pay for it, and you're probably going to need to pay more than you want, because we've gotten so used to these services that are supported by ads and they're supported by data harvesting. Now I need to run Brewfest for a dress. TSM crashed for me. The error window says steps leading up to the error list steps. Hey, there it is. Steps leading up to the error list steps here. Okay. I'm going to just restart my game and update TSM because the poor thing is asking me so nicely. And also it's kind of mad. So let me, you guys are going to get a black screen for a second here, and that's intended, so the stream hasn't broken. In the meantime, while I do this update, I'm going to enlarge the fish cam so I can talk to you about why I have a camera up that appears to have no animals in it. So there is a fish in there. I should say that first. I'm not just duping you. There is a fish in there, and the reason why I am doing the quarantine tank again is because Nefarian, the fish who lives in there, is moving into the community tank at the end of the week, so this is one of the last streams that I can do where we might actually get to see him just on his own. It's going to be pretty hard to get him on stream once he's in the community tank, because he's just kind of like he likes to lurk. He's kind of a lurky dude. And because of that, he's hard to see, so places to look for him are typically either around the heater in the back left, which is hard because there's glare, or like underneath the wood. He's always at the ground level, which is why we're zoomed in so close to the sand. He's been doing pretty good. He's been doing real good. Oh, you know what I was going to do is I was going to feed him. So I've updated that. I'm going to restart the game, and I'm actually going to mix up some food for my buddy because he gets, oh, I see him actually. He's on the far right-hand side, so you can't see him because he's panned out, but he's on the far right-hand side behind the heater. I bet you if I put some food in the front, he might come out and grab it. So I'm going to make his favorite meal, and I'll tell you all about it. He is a Bolivian ram, which is a kind of dwarf cichlid. It's just him in there, so we're not going to feed him very much. I've got some micro wafers, and I've got some garlic guard. And what this is it's just raw garlic extract. It smells incredible. It smells, I mean, like garlic, but I really like garlic. Who doesn't? I mean, I'm sure some people don't, but... So, like, 1, 2, 3, 4... like 5 or so. So I put little pellets in these little dishes. I have these little dishes with these little cats on them, And there's like different cats in the different ones, so I know which food dish is for which fish. And then I take the tiniest amount of garlic guard. You don't always have to do this. The point of the garlic is to make sure the fish eats it. He's not a super reluctant eater, but he's a little bit of a reluctant eater. So this helps just make sure that he's getting enough food, especially while he's new to our home. And it also has, I believe, people think it's anti-parasite. It's kind of just like a safe-to-eat homeopathic remedy. So I take the tiniest amount of that, I pour it in the dish, and I make sure that the pellets are in it. We're going to let that sit for a second. Put this all away. What's in the tank? That is my Bolivian ram fish named Nefarian, and we're going to try and get him to come out a little closer to the front. In the meantime, I can, if I try to adjust the camera, I'm just going to get the window lost because of issues. So we'll log back in, we'll head out to the raid, and we'll let this soak up. So it's always a good idea. It's not mandatory, but it's a good idea if you're ever feeding your fish dry food. If you can soak it first, it doesn't have to be in an extract. You can just soak it in like a little bit of tank water first in like a dish like this. But if you soak it first, that causes it to expand, which it's going to do anyways. And it's better if it expands before the fish eats it than later in its stomach. You can, fish can get upset stomachs or even run into problems if they eat a bunch of dry food and then the food absorbs water and then it expands in their stomach. They can get constipated and bloated that way. So if you have the time, and it really doesn't take that much time, you just take a little dish, scoop up its tank water, put the food in it first, and then dunk it in. Then it is a nice way to do an extra thing to make the food extra safe for your fish. And if you give them a little garlic once in a while, they will love you for it. The fish in their tank go nuts for this stuff. Alright, first thing there, and I'm going to put this away, and then the other thing that I do is I don't like to drop like a whole bunch. I can't really show you how much is in here. It's just like a couple drops of garlic extract, but I don't like to dunk it in the tank with a lot of it because I'm not trying to make his water smell like garlic. So I take a little paper towel and I like wick off the extra stuff. I really like, I mean, feeding your fish, you don't want to overfeed your fish. So I like to be as extra as possible when I do feed my fish to satisfy my fish caring instincts. I'm gonna grab the paper towel. Take a little corner of paper towel, and these have gotten a bit bigger. You can see that, well, you can't see because there's no way, but they've gotten a little bigger. So I take a little bit of paper towel and I like wick off just the excess garlicky. It's okay to have some of it get in there. You just don't want all of it. I don't even know if that has any effect at all. I just like to throw that out, and then I will dunk this in the front, and he won't come right away, I bet, but he should come sniffing around. There he goes. So you can see him on the right hand side there underneath the wood. He grabbed one as it was falling. He must be hungry. Hopefully he comes a little more to the front so you can see him a little better. I will leave the camera big at least until through the first boss of this dungeon, because this raid, just so we can see if he'll eat. And then once I get to the last boss, I will shrink it back down again because this is a WoW stream, not a fish stream. First time I catch a Tuesday stream, we usually only watch Fridays. Good morning, Zero De Niro. Do you know if heritage armor for dwarves are obtainable yet? It's not. I want to say that they haven't confirmed when that's coming. It might be 8.1, but it's definitely not yet. I hate cat time walkers. Good morning, Hazel. Love your channel. Good morning, Jack. Thanks. I see him. I wanted to come up to the front and turn to the side a little bit so you can see his fins. He's got pink tips to his fins, and that'll darken up in color as he gets more comfortable and as he gets bigger. He's still quite young. He's a little juvenile fish boy, but right now all you can see is his front. There's more food at the front, bud. I'm really excited to move him into the other tank. Like he's healthy there, and he was in quarantine so we can make sure he's healthy before I add him to the tank with my other fish. But he is lonely. I think they don't need others of their own kind. He is going to be the only Bolivian ram in that tank, at least for now. I might get him a pair if I ever upgrade the tank size, but in that tank he's just gonna be the one. But he's still, like, he'll be more comfortable with other fish. There's this concept with fish called dither fish, where if you got this fish, and it's just like the only one, and this isn't true of all kinds of fish. Like Fleta the betta is fine being on his own in the tank, but there's some types of fish, they'll look around, and if they don't see any of your fish, they're gonna go like, oh no, what ate them? Where is it? What's wrong? Why are all the other fish gone? What is happening? Is this the apocalypse? They're uncomfortable. And then if you have like some other minnows or ember or tetras or rasbora or just like whatever little happy little fish swimming around, then they look up and they see the happy little fish. They go, okay, well, there's no sharks here. I'm good. Basically. So he doesn't have any buddies right now. So he's kind of wondering where they went. But he's been pretty comfortable. He's been eating. His color's good. And I get to move him soon, which I'm excited about. So that, it looks like it's all he's going to do. So I'm going to shrink him back down. You can still see him. He's just a very tiny speck. And that's okay. I will, I'll see if I can bring back a fluffier pet cam on Friday's stream. Oh, such a cute little dude. I love fish. Cue Jaws music. Hazel's fish eats special crackers levelly coated with garlic oil while I eat cold cereal 3 meals a day. I do that with me too, though. Like, there were a couple of specific instances back when I had the mystery snails where I was boiling water and cutting off the rind of a cucumber slice to blanch them individual cucumber slices and dipping them in ice water before I fed them to them, because that was their favorite. Zucchini specifically, actually, not cucumber, zucchini. And after I did that, I would make myself and my husband something for dinner that didn't even involve turning on the stove because I didn't want to. But the snails, you know, the snails got the gourmet meal. I have issues. Assume the fish cam is an 8.2 sneak peek. Tempest Keep was merely a setback. I love the 100k shirt. It's comfortable and cute. I hope you do more custom designs in the future with more fishies. I would love to. I'm going to try and work with some different designers. Like, not like I would definitely work with NVIDIA again, but I want to try and do some different styles so that people have different options of, you know, people that maybe saw the first 2 shirts were like, well, those don't look like something I'd wear. I want to try and hit as many bases as I can to try and find things that people wear, and also try and find things that I just like as clothing. I'm not going to call myself a clothing designer, but I like trying to come up with stuff that's going to look cool. The fish is making me paranoid. Quit staring at me. I forgot your stream. Gonna head out now. Have a great day, Hazel. Have a great day, Seraphim. No worries. I will try and put the VoD out earlier. I know I've been a little bit slow lately on publishing stream VoD, so I'm going to try to get this one published pretty early today. I don't have another video to go out today, but I'm gonna try and work to see if I can't get something for tomorrow or Thursday. I like that piece of wood. Would look great with some Anubias. Use maybe some hydrocodone too. So it's got a little bit of Java fern on it. The story with that wood is that I had it in the betta tank. And I had it with an Anubias Nana Petite and a bunch more Java fern on it. And I think you can find a picture of that if you go back on my Instagram. And then when my betta fish kept having fin rip problems, I went extra with sharp proofing his tank. Like, the wood isn't particularly sharp, but it's not like smooth as a river stone. So I sanded it down, and eventually I just got rid of the wood. I got rid of the gravel, and I just did sand, smooth river stones, plants, and a sanded coconut hide. Like, I went as smooth as humanly possible, and his fins are still a mess, so he's biting them. There's no question about it now. But at the time, I thought he might be tearing them on the wood, so I took the wood out. And then it stayed in my closet for a while, because it was a nice piece of wood. It has, like, these glue spots on it from when I did have the plants on it. So it doesn't look great, but it's a nice piece of wood. And then when I started quarantining Neff over there, I realized pretty quickly that he wasn't super comfy with just the fake plant. He was hiding behind the filter a lot, so I still had it in my closet, so I cleaned it up, sanded it off a little bit more, and chucked it in there so he'd have something to hide under, and he does like it quite a bit. So now that I think I've decided that he likes it and I'm going to keep it, I'm probably going to move it into the main tank when I move the fish. And at that point, I can add another Anubias onto it. I haven't tried any Bucephalandra yet. I want to expand my plant repertoire, but I'm also trying to take things one step at a time with that tank. I'm having issues with some of the plants. I'm having issues with algae. I'm new to the planted tank, so I'm going through all the struggles that come with that one at a time. Hazel, have a nice day. Thanks, Martin. Your sub square is down at the corner where Nefarian is. Oh no! Here, I can scooch him up. There you go. Your item level on this character. Which character? This character? 195. This is one of my level 110 alts. Most of my alts are in this kind of range because this is where I got them to in the BFA pre-patch event. Hi Hazel from South Africa. Super happy I caught your stream live again. Welcome to the stream, Koisty. TSM444 update out now. Ooh, I will have to look at the changelog for that. Maybe it'll fix the one problem, like a lot of the problems I was having with TSM4, I eventually discovered that the persistent ones, like there were some early ones like crashing that got fixed. And there was still one crashing one that I was still dealing with it that hopefully they're dealt with now. But most of the problems that I was having were like, oh man, none of my mailing works. I figured out were because I had not, my mailing wasn't working because the default operation had overridden my mailing operations, and I just had to go click a couple checkboxes and it was fine again. But the one thing that I'm convinced is not my fault that has not been working is the TSM ledger page, like the accounting. It has a resale tab, which is great because I like looking at that to see how much I've made off flipping things. Like if I bought something and then sold it, you would think that that would be my resale tab, and it has not been tracking any of my resales, and I'm very frustrated because I don't know, like all of the filters are unchecked. I've tried everything. I don't know what I can do to make it work. So hopefully that's something that they looked at. I have a 50-gallon tank. It grew from an inch to half a foot, ate all the other fish in the tank. Oh, I need to read the previous one. You were considering getting an Oscar fish. It was get very big, take over the tank. I wouldn't get an Oscar fish for my community tank. If I got an Oscar fish, it would be for a 75-gallon tank of his own. They do get very big. They can get like 11, 12 inches. Definitely will eat other fish. Definitely don't put it in a community tank. Not the way to go. Yeah, they can get to about a foot long if they're if you get like a good nice sized one. I still might get one day, but it's kind of like the very last of my fish priorities because water is kind of, it's not cheap. It's not super expensive, but it's not cheap. And I already want a bigger community tank, and I already want a nice big goldfish tank, like a 75-gallon at least goldfish tank. And that's going to be a lot of water to be changing, so I need to, like, do those things one day in my house and look at my water bill and be like, do I really need another 75-gallon tank? Recently got into WoW, finally going through some Lich King content. Learned a lot from your videos. Thank you. I hope that you have the most magical of journeys. I hope that you find your WoW calling. Maybe you already have. What am I doing? Oh, it won't let me do the thing at Wolf Farm. I did an island expedition, and I thought they were actually more fun when we were looking for rares and events to do to try and increase our chances of getting the stuff than they were when we were just, like, spam farming the elementals. I just wish it told you more in-game about that. Neff just said kill the one in the dress. It does kind of seem like his personality. He's got some real sass to him. He's pretty funny. I purposefully moved to a spot in Animal Crossing so nobody can move next to me. Someone is like 2 feet away from me now. Like an NPC, or it has to be an NPC, right? Like most of Animal Crossing is single player. I haven't played an Animal Crossing game in a bit. I miss them. I hope things have been great. The wallpapers are awesome. Thanks, Mishka Bear. I have not seen the latest Foo the Flowerhorn update. I saw that it was out and I was going to watch it last night and I ran out of time. That is on my list. That is on my evening unwinding Tuesday watch list. Like, I have time in my schedule set out to watch that video. I'm so excited. Is it good? Did something cool happen? Oh, you want to get just Sparkling Grommy because of the video? I love, like, the thing that really inspires me about the Foo the Flowerhorn videos is, like, his documenting of the process of having his fish and his animals breed in that tank. Makes me want to breed fish so bad. And, you know, there's obviously a lot of challenges with that, and you gotta find something to do with your adult fish, and there's, I'm sure, a lot of heartbreak as fish that you grow very attached to don't make it, but goodness, it looks cool. Like, the fact that he owns fish that were born in his tank, so cool to me. Super, super, super cool. Also, the way he does everything is just so elegant. I'm just jealous. I'm not that elegant about anything. Nearing 150k subs. Any special plans for that milestone? No. I think a lot of the growth recently was related to raid guides, so I don't think that, I think it's going to slow down pretty drastically, which is fine. I need to make some more widely useful videos, but I don't think even when we do get there that I have any plans for any milestones coming up. Maybe like if I do 200k, maybe, but 100 was kind of like the big one. I feel like as a WoW YouTuber, that's kind of the one that you get, and then that's kind of the last big one. Like, you're not often going to see WoW YouTubers at 1 million subs. I can't think of any off the top of my head that are strictly WoW YouTubers. And in my head, it kind of goes from... Where are we going today, Grandmaster? I forgot about that. From 100k to 1 mil. So there are milestones in between, but I don't know if people normally do them. Seeing your fish makes me miss mine. I used to have some red-bellied piranhas in one tank and Oscars in the other. I'm enjoying fish so much. I am enjoying them so greatly. I love visiting them all. I love checking in with them and like making the tour and like seeing how they're doing and watching them eat their food and cleaning their tank. And like all of like the tiny dramas of each tank, like stupidest stuff, you know, not interesting to anybody but you as the tank owner, but like in my 20-gallon log. Like I said, I've been having algae problems. And I have some narite snails in there, and their purpose is to eat the algae and also to look cute because I love them. But they're algae eaters, and that's kind of all they do. And it's been driving me nuts that they've been like eating algae off of like the wood or the glass that is pretty clean. And the plants, which are hard for me to clean, and I know they can clean algae off of because I've seen them, they almost never eat algae off the plants. And more recently, I've discovered that if I really clean the heck out of the glass, then they discover there's nothing there, and then they go work in the plant. So I've been like trying to trick them into eating the algae that I want them to eat, and it's been this whole thing. Hang on, just a second. Okay. Baking stream. Not yet. It's got to be good. It's got to be good. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be worth it. It's like, those things take a lot of time, and I know that while many people do enjoy them and are looking forward to them coming back, the wider audience of WoW videos doesn't care in the slightest. So I need to make it good when I bring those back. And I can't do it until I have the computer thing sorted out.
Good luck, Grandmaster.
I forget that the mount talks. I'm starting to think that the computer build's going to be after BlizzCon, just because there's only 1 month left until BlizzCon. I don't know how long it's going to take me to do it. You'd think it's going to be a couple of weeks just to get the parts here, right? I don't know. We'll see. Have you ever tried a saltwater tank? No, never. Terrified. Absolutely terrified. I'm new still. I'm trying not to go too fast because I am still very much a fish beginner. My first fish as an adult was Fleta the Betta, who we got last April, so it's been less than a year. And I'm sticking with freshwater rather for now, because saltwater tanks look scary. And I'm sure that once you learn some basic stuff, they're not that much harder than freshwater. There's just some different things to monitor. But they also look expensive, and there's no two ways about that. People say, oh, you can set it up for not that much, and then they list all of these things that cost an insane amount of money. I'm like, you're delusional. You have been in it for too long that you have just written off all these costs in your head that are absolutely valid costs. Saltwater is expensive. But the fish are so pretty. They are very pretty. I love looking at saltwater tanks when I visit them in fish stores and whatnot. I don't trust myself to do it. Any ideas for the 8.1 release date? No. I would say, I mean, hazarding a guess after BlizzCon. Probably within 2 or 3 weeks after BlizzCon. So like 6 weeks or so from now. 6 or 7 weeks from now. Guessing. Because, you know, they're not going to put out, I would be very surprised if they put it out before BlizzCon. Because BlizzCon's going to be kind of the thing for them to like hype up the patch, and then they can be like, and you get to play it pretty soon. That's kind of the thing that they tend to do. Don't be so sure and slowing down. I haven't put out anything great in a couple, like, I feel like the raid guides were the last thing that I did that was valuable to a significant margin of people. And I want to try and make more not like more raid guides, because there's no more, I do want to do more raid guides, but there's no more raids yet. But my list right now, I'm trying this new thing where I have like, because I've been through 101 different methods for trying to organize my time and planning and schedules and whatever. I've been through planners and journals and guides and checklists and apps for days, for weeks, for years. But the new thing that I'm trying is I have these brightly colored post-it notes, and I've been writing the video that I want to do along with the day I want to do it and a checkbox, and then I'm sticking it on my monitor so I can't forget about it. I can't forget about when I want to have it out. I can't forget about the fact that I'm planning to do it. And once I have it on the post-it, I feel like this is now a thing. And I make it happen, then I check it off and I put it on my list for the day. So the ones that I have up right now are TSM auctioning, which is the one I'm going to work on today to hopefully get out tomorrow. I can't guarantee that. I don't have enough time today to technically do it, so we'll see. And that was supposed to be Wednesday. We'll see. And then the other one is a Bumbles guide, and I am really conflicted about whether or not I should do a Bumbles guide. I'm about to get my Bumbles in like 2 more days, so I have the footage to kind of do it. And I'm sure that there are people that have missed out on Bumbles that would like to go get it if I put out a video on it. But there are so many valid Bumbles guides out already, and it's so late in the game that I'm wondering if I shouldn't maybe take that post-it down and put something 8.1 related. And then there's like the question of like pet battle guides. Like, I haven't done those yet. Do I do a here are principles by which to figure out how to beat them? Do I do individual 2-pet guides? I don't know. Is it too late? Have I missed the ball? I don't know. What mount is in this instance? The Drake of the South Wind. I just had 5 feet of snow dropped on us last night. Goodness. I hope you were, I mean, I'm sure, man, that would be so unfortunate if that just happened, like, super suddenly and you didn't have time to prepare. Like, 5 feet of snow is I'm not going anywhere kind of weather. At least where I come from. You do get underlight angler perks in BFA, but it's basically the movement speed ones and the water walking, but not the pool porting, and not, like, you don't get extra barrels or whatever, but you can turn into a shark and go faster. I believe you can water walk. So some of them, the important ones, basically. So we got 2 more runs to do. Could have sworn I heard Krender for a moment in your voice. I would take that as a compliment. I need her to do the second part with hugging or it's bugged. I'm starting to work on getting ball. Una won't debug him. I need to look up what is even involved in ball. You can do a molten core raid guide. Here you go, guys. This one's on time. Here's how to beat Ragnaros. No, not the second time, the first time. Got it. What is a Bumbles? Do the Bumbles guide. What's a Bumbles? All right. All right. I will keep the sticky note. It's a cute thing, you know. I would hate for somebody to not get a Bumbles if they want a Bumbles. Bumbles is a battle pet. Bumbles is, I can give you the short version right now. This is a Bumbles. He's a black bee. He's very cute. He matches the he matches the wallpaper. He's a black bee, and you get him for the Let's Be Friends achievement, which requires doing a daily quest 7 times, and there is a hidden thing that you do to unlock that daily quest. So that would be the guide. We want your guides, not other guides. What's the point of watching mine, though, if you already know how to do the thing? Bumbles. No, I got Bumbles. A lot of people ask me how to get them. Alright, I'll keep it. I can give a data Bumbles. Got another 12 turtles to the water. I've heard that people, do any of you guys do this? I've heard that people start the beachhead Tortolan World Quest. Oh, hang on. I think you can see Neff from the side now. There he is. Look at him. Look at him. Hang on. I can make him even bigger. There he is. Where's all your pink, buddy? Where's all your pink? I mean, I have zoomed in like 10,000% on a webcam, so that might be where part of it's going. I'm gonna go look and see if he's actually missing it. Well, I don't want to spook him. He's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long right now. He's gonna get to about 2.5, 3 inches in size. Maybe a little less than 3 inches. Because he is a male. But yeah, he is a Bolivian ram. Microgeophagus altospinosus. He should live pretty happy in my other tank in a bit. So yeah, I'll shrink him now. I'm like a parent with kids, except that my kids are fish and even less people care. Thank you for the fresh 120 vid. I was overwhelmed and your vid helped. No problem, Crancy. Disclaimer and shout out, and I'll say the same thing I said earlier about that vid. The thing that I said about World Quest being account-wide unlocked is being hotly contested. I may or may not be wrong about that. I don't know to what degree I am wrong, but I do recommend doing the friendly reps on any future alts, even if you've already done it the first time. Because the jury is out on whether or not that's actually account-wide or not. Nice. Lipstick Hazel, thank you. I like this one. And the thing that makes me mad, and I'm sure some of you that wear lipsticks will relate, is I really like this one. So the formula is excellent. It's a great red, and the formula goes on, like, it's really easy to put on. It doesn't go on streaky. It dries really quickly. I like the liquid lip formula. And that would be great, so then you want to get other colors. So I tried a sample that had some other colors of it. And the infuriating thing is that even though it's the same product in different colors, it's not the same. Like, different colors won't be as good, and that's happened with a lot of makeup. Something about what they do to make the colors different can sometimes negatively impact how the formula feels. Infuriating, though, when you think you found your Holy Grail product, but then you've only found your Holy Grail product in one shade. Alright, makeup rant over. Bumbus pet. He looks gray. I mean, if he was, like, completely black, he would just look like your screen's having a problem. I have a Google Play card. Wondering if you wanted to give it away to a water or something. Water. I'm gonna go ahead and say that you should follow your heart on that one, but I probably won't take it to give away. Your guides are PS. Did the fishy fade all the pink? I'm gonna take a look at him actually now that I've zoomed back down. I want to make sure that he's okay. No, he's still got it. He's still got it. It's just not showing up on camera. His anal fin, which is the one kind of not on the very back of him, but on the bottom next to the back of him, is almost completely pink. And he's got pink edging to the tops and bottom of his fins. It's just not coming through on the webcam. They can fade the colors. Like when you first bring him home, he's very stressed from traveling and he's completely gray. They can fade in color when they're stressed. And that's why I just want to make sure he's not completely faded, because otherwise something might be wrong. I need to take a look at it. His temperature looks good when I was over there. And I did a water change for him yesterday, so he should be fine. He's so cute. I found an empty turtle shell on my walk last night. The first thing I thought was the cycle of life can be true. You found an empty turtle shell? I want to walk where you walk. I find snails sometimes. That's pretty cool. I saw a vole the other day. I posted about this in the Discord. I wish I had a picture. I just posted the cute things like, well, I don't have a picture, but I saw a vole. I saw a vole, and I thought it was a mouse, because you see something and thinks, that's a vole. But basically, there's all of these holes that I always kind of thought somebody had done as part of, like, really terrible landscaping. Because they're, like, very obviously dug up. They look almost like when you get lawns that are aerated, but it was bigger. And I was walking by, and I looked at it, and this little dude pops his head out of the hole, like, looks around, and then he sees me, and then he runs away. But he was, like, up out of the hole for a couple of seconds. And it was so cute, and I was like, well, that's kind of like a mouse, but it doesn't quite look like a mouse. Like, it had really small ears, it had a really big head. I swear it almost looked like a hamster, but it wasn't a hamster. And I went home, and I looked up pictures of voles, and I was like, that's it, that was a vole. And now I know that I've seen a vole once in my life. And it's great because I get to enjoy that experience knowing that it's not my lawn. I'm sure that you would hate voles if it was your property because they're pretty destructive. Like, he had done some damage. Him and his buddies had done some damage to that field, but it was just an empty lot, so nobody, I don't think, is particularly concerned. But I get to appreciate how adorable they are because he's not messing up my lawn. Hope the rest of the stream goes well. Need some sleep. Working at a haunted house, so I am tired. That is quite the job. I wish you the best of naps or nighttime sleeps, depending on which one it is. Found your channel last week, and you're awesome. Thanks, Bluefire. I hope to put out some good stuff that makes you, like, you won't regret it. You won't regret the sub. You won't regret stopping by the stream. What are we doing? We did one more attempt. So that was attempt number 105. We're going to log on to the warrior, do attempt number 106. I found a watermelon on a beach once. I wish I found a shell. A watermelon, though. I wish I liked watermelon more. I feel a little bit judged whenever I talk about watermelon because it's just so depressing. Like, it looks really good, and then you eat it, and you're like, yeah. All melon, really. Like, cantaloupe can get out of here. But watermelon specifically looks so delicious. Like, I have a shirt that has slices of watermelon on it because I'm like, well, that's cute and it looks yummy. And then I actually eat watermelon. I'm like, this is really sticky and I'm being attacked by wasps. And it's only okay. It's kind of like water. I get it. It's watermelon, but I don't like it as much as I want to. Purples and blue tone reds are notoriously harder to formulate. That would actually make sense. The ones that I try that I don't like, I try to do purple lipsticks, especially back when my hair was purple. I tried a lot of purple lipsticks. So, like, blackberry shades are the ones that I'm having problems with, so that actually does make sense. It's like a blue tone red. Are you leveling dark iron? I have 2 of them. They're on my loading screen. They look lovely. I would like to level them. I just don't know when. I don't know when. Ugh. My goal in WoW right now, the thing that's kind of, like, supplanting my leveling time is been herb farming for gold, because that's kind of my go-to. I would like to earn some gold, but I don't want to turn my brain on activity at the end of the day. Is just to watch some YouTube videos and farm some herbs. And I've been enjoying that so much. I feel like I'll do that until I get the 5 million for the Brutosaur. And then after that, I will have more time for alts. Obviously, it's going to take me actually forever, because that's a lot of gold. And I make a decent amount of gold, but I'm not some people. I know a guy that bought the Brutosaur and then ended up with, like, he dropped like 2 million on a transmog piece or something, or a mount. He dropped 2 million on a black market auctionist mount, like 3 weeks after that, because he's like, yeah, I mean, I had it. What's gold for if not to spend, right? I'm like, how? Some people are just really smart about making it. Chromie will not be happy if you decide to get Neff instead of a boyfriend for her. I don't, like, the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I think that trying to get mating pairs of the bigger fish in my 20 long tank might be too much tension for that tank size. I think that in a 55, eventually, there will be enough space that if there is, like, some aggression or some territorialness from the mating pairs of fish with the gourami and the rams, that there will be enough space and plantedness and line of sight breaks that it doesn't, like, super affect all the other fish. But the 20 long, it's a good amount of space, but it's not huge. And I think that there could potentially be issues if I try to do a pair of either rams or gourami. So I'm going to, I do think, get both of them spouses, but not until we get them into a bigger tank. And they'll be fine as singles until then. If they remove Shadow Priest from the game, what would you do? Ask some questions. Did you see the fan art I put on your Share Your Art? I have not looked at that channel in the last little bit. I should check it out, though. You're right. Fingers crossed for you. Usually catch up by watching the VoDs. Thanks for putting them up. Thank you for continuing to be you and click on my videos. I appreciate that a lot. I appreciate all of you. And of course I appreciate all the support that I get through Patreon. And, you know, Patreon and the sponsorships and the merch sales have been great. Those have really helped. All of those things really make me feel better when a video gets demonetized, or they make me feel better about, like, not taking every sponsorship, because there's a lot of mobile games that want me to advertise for them, and I don't want to do that, so I appreciate that I don't have to because of you guys. But it's always an extra. It's like watching, like, the fact that you clicked on a video of mine is enough. That's the baseline. That's all I can ever ask from somebody. Am I good? Am I done? Oh no, I need to kill the boss. And I appreciate the heck out of all of you that do that. How many minutes? Alright, so I have 396, but the achievement total, which is the one that matters, is 344. I'm only 6 mounts away from a Frost Shard core. That'll be kind of cool. Also, I think that actually, I might be able to get that without even doing any, like, without even having the rare mounts drop, because I don't have any of the, I have very few BFA mounts so far. I think the only BFA mounts that I actually have are the donkey from Arathi Highlands. Is that it? I have the donkey, I got the Dreadwake mount, the shop one. I got the collector's edition one. I think that's it. So as I get the rep mounts, because I'm still just starting to come up in reps, there's going to be 3 mounts from that, so that's easy. No luck today. We got at least 1 more week of Throne of the Four Windsing to do. Looks like. Yeah, that's not that many more. Have you tried squeezing lime juice in your watermelon? It's delicious. I have never tried that. It sounds like a great idea for a cocktail, actually. Start getting the 200k shirt ready. Made 3.4 mil in BFA so far, mostly on herbs. Herbs are like the reliable thing. I think that obviously the price is going to come down as they make changes. And, you know, in a good way, because people want to use flasks and potions and stuff. But I'm riding that train as long as it goes. Salt and watermelon's yummy. I put lime and coconut. Do you have any herbing tips? I mean, the basic ones. Use a glove enchant. Get on a herbing mount. You can use the Sky Golem, or if you have enough toys, you can use the lumber extractor. That works too. And then find your spots. Find your roots. One that I use a lot, that I mean lots of people do, but it's a good one just for general herbs, and any root that's got a lot of riverbud, sea stalks, or winter's kiss in it is good, because those ones all have a chance to be replaced with anchorweed, which is like the good stuff. So one that I like to do is I run all the way down this river, and then I run all the way down the coast, and then I just do that loop right there, that water loop. You get tons of riverbud, you get the occasional siren sting in range, and siren sting sells very well. You get tons of sea stalk along the coast. You can usually find a couple anchorweed if you're lucky. That's a good one just for raw herbs. And then, of course, the other one, the big one that everybody does, is Aram's Stand. So in Drustvar, Coltiras, Drustvar, up right around here. So that's Aram's Stand. You go kind of like around this area, and you go all the way up around this area. There is a ton of Winter's Kiss there. Winter's Kiss doesn't sell that great, but it has a chance to be replaced and spawned by anchorweed, and anchorweed sells fantastically. Wish you the patience to farm gold? It takes a while. Is it worth doing enchanting? I think so, but I think that you want to keep an eye on, like, right now what I do is I have enchanting, but I don't have it leveled very high, because the value from enchanting for me right now is disenchanting stuff and selling the shards has been much more profitable than it would have been to scrap the item. So that's how I'm using enchanting right now. Eventually, if that value flips and the crafted enchants become worth more, then I may switch to that. But overall, the overall value of crafting stuff has gone down in BFA, and my opinion is because the barrier to entry for crafting endgame stuff is much lower now that you're able to just start right away with Culture Essence Zandalar crafting. So selling the mats has been good. Crafting the enchants is questionable right now. It may get better later. Oh, I do have the Great Sea Ray. You're right. I forgot. I do have the Great Sea Ray. You can fish anywhere for it, but it's your luck sucks that you didn't find out about it earlier because it used to be really easy to get. It's not anymore. I believe you have to fish coastally. I believe the Great Sea Ray drops in coastal waters, so not inland waters, coast waters. You don't need any special level of fishing. Trying to level my alchemy is proving expensive to do. My my plan for those things right now is I will have the professions, but until it becomes more profitable for me to sell crafted things, I'm not even going to level them because it's so expensive to level. I'm just going to sell the herbs while they're valuable now. As the value drops later on down the road, that is a smarter time for me to level the profession and then try to make gold by selling the stuff. If it even ever does even out, maybe it'll just be gathering as king forever. We'll see. Wish you luck today in mount running. We're actually done for today. We have done all 11 tries. These are my lovely dark irons. I have my monk right there, my warlock right there. I would love to level them. I don't know when. I still need to finish leveling my lovely Lightforged Paladin. I enjoy those ults a lot. I think they look great. I like the concept of them. I just haven't been putting the time into leveling lately. This her I like to sit in Bridgeport, and then there's a little inn and a little mailbox in Bridgeport. So for leveling her, what I've been doing is just putting her in that inn. And then if I'm logging on WoW to grab footage for something, and maybe this is why it takes me so long to edit, is because I do this whenever I log in, I just do a little quick lap around the town, and there's lots of star moss there, and there's some sea stalks that are really close by. So I do a little quick lap around the town, I pick up like 9 or 10 herb nodes, and each of those gives me 1750 experience. So one lap is about a quest worth of experience, and you can kind of do that as often as herbs respawn, and then you can sell them, and that's pretty good too. So the spot that I go for that is it Bridgeport or Bridgehaven? Bridgeport specifically, yeah. So this flight point right here, I just kind of like go across the bridge over there and then up like just to about there. And there's an inn here that I park the character. So I've actually been doing that to level. We'll be able to answer the do you need friendly rep to unlock world quest once I finish leveling this character, because she's not going to have it. I gotta go home. Sorry I'm late. No, or I just got home. Sorry I'm late. No worries, but I am on my way out. Thank you guys all very much for watching the stream. I'm going to try to post the VoD as soon as it is finished processing, so earlier today. So if you did miss parts of it, you want to catch up, that should be out today. Thank you for listening to me talk about my fish, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay tuned for more videos and stuff.